crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only let selected few in my circle. And this is a real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get down.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. Come to you guys humbly on this Tuesday morning. In a good mood, and I saw some NBA news that just made me feel so warm inside. It made me feel so good because, God dog it, your boy Hoop Jargon was right again. Listen, in case you guys been hiding under a rock, let's address what the current news is with your boy Kevin Durant. So let me go to my graphic real quick. Because, man, I know when I make these predictions, it's like, oh, Hoop, you hating. Oh, Hoop, you being old-fashioned. Listen, man. The lick read with the lick read, man. I can't. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It is what it is, like the old school say, right? Your boy Kevin Durant and the Nets have sat down and agreed to move forward together. Did I not tell y'all that first video I put out a month ago that Kevin Durant has no leverage? He has 3 years left on his contract. He has no leverage. And I said, dude, if you leave, your reputation is going to be horrible. But I'll get to that in a second. Let me hit some of the early birds up, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Kudos to KD for honoring his contract he signed. No, really though. And it's funny that in this goofy space that is sports information, that some people don't value putting the work in and honoring what you say you're going to do. Nothing bad about that, nothing goofy about that. That's what men do. Come on now. Shout out to my little cousin Mike Nasty, old-fashioned. Yeah, man. I'm old-fashioned by just telling you guys how the world works. And shout out to Jeremy Bill to say KD dumb. Well, I think KD, I'm not going to call the brother dumb. But what I think he did do is bit off more than he could chew. And as I led in with, I'm done with this is my fourth entry into this saga. He just overstepped his boundary. You bit off more than you can chew because your profile and your age does not match up for what you want. So you have no leverage. You got no leverage. Now, if you was in the last year of your deal, maybe. But they got you by the balls, man. So he also went, the boardroom posted this statement from Sean Marks, who is the GM. And he said, the following statement has been released by the manager, Sean Marks. Steve Nash and I, together with Joe Tsai and Clara Wu Tsai, met with Wu Tsai. That's kind of funny. Met with Kevin Durant and Rich Kleiman in Los Angeles yesterday. We have agreed to move forward with our partnership. We are focusing on basketball with one collective goal in mind: build a lasting franchise to build a championship to Brooklyn. Man, hey, good for them, man. Listen, dog. There's no other way you could have went with this. KD, you can't force yourself out. Man, again, I said this on, this is my fourth stream talking about this. My message has been succinct the whole time, man. I'm not trying to act like I'm a know-it-all, but like, the real is just the real, man. Shout out Dante S. in the building says, Nets played it right. You already signed, player. Exactly. You already signed, dog. See, why do you want out in the first place? I don't know. Maybe he's throwing some little BF, what you call bitch fit. Maybe, who knows? And, listen, man, Kevin Durant's my favorite player. And I got to say it every time because I'm not lambasting him in the sense that from a sense of disrespect or like hatred or what have you. But this is Kevin Durant, man. He's flighty. He has his up and down, moods. And maybe he was in a mood. I don't know because it just doesn't make sense. But let's move forward. Jeremy also says, no lie, him playing with Bron would have been a sight to see. Man, you know what? That's a sight I don't want to see. I don't want to see no damn. I don't want to see no damn LeBron James and KD playing together. I'm tired of LeBron James getting teammates. LeBron James need to stick it out with his commitment. He signed 2 more years with the Lakers. You ride that shit out. You don't get to move the earth and the sun every year to get what you want. Nah, you don't get to do that. And the studio also says Chinese on the Nets. Apparently so. Apparently so. Because I know the Russian dude, Popov, or whatever his name was, he was an initial owner when they came over from New Jersey. But yeah, I guess Joe Tsai has bought the team a few years ago. So yeah, as it seems, they are Chinese owned. But so as I always do, guys, when I lay these videos out, well, not always, but most of the time, I like to set backdrop of what the main media is saying. So I saw some people comment on Stephen A. Now I have not seen this, so I'm going to comment in a moment. But apparently Stephen A. Smith, he knew what's going on. And I'm also going to give you snippets from my video I did a month ago when I said initially, this is a horrible look for KD and his reputation is probably done. So I'm glad he's staying, because at the end of my video, what I said was he needs to stay. He needs to make this work because goddamn it, the pieces are there. Ben Simmons inspired basketball is there. Kyrie, again, he had no leverage. I made a video about Kyrie as well. He has no leverage. It's a perfect storm of misfits. And you know what? Sometimes it's an old thing called order from chaos. This seems like this is a situation to a T where it can be order from chaos. But with that said, let me hop on the Stephen A. Smith thing, and appreciate y'all being nice and punctual, man. Y'all keep that chat active. If you guys want to support the product that is Hoop Jargon, man, I got the Cash App down there. You can hit the super chat. You know, those always get priority here. So I want to set a goal, man. If we can get 3 contributions today, man, that'll make my day, man, before I go to work. So, you know, if it's in your heart, do so. I ain't forcing nobody to. Yeah, Studio, I agree with that. They need a coach, and I said that in my last video as well. Steve Nash, to me, is not a good coach, and it's not because he doesn't know basketball. He knows basketball at a very high level. Steve Nash seems to me to be a little biatch, and there's no way you can maintain top talent like that when you have a more softer disposition. You got to come in, king nut swinging. It's like this, or it's nothing. That's, in my opinion, what Steve Nash needs to be, and he doesn't strike me to be that kind of guy. So I just think he's just a horrible candidate to be the head coach of this basketball team. Not saying every basketball team, but goddamn it, this one. Oof, not a good look. Not a good look. All right, so let's get into it. Let's see what Stephen A. says, and I'll chime in. So appreciate y'all as usual. Let's get it.
Sean Marks, I'll read it to you quickly. Steve Nash and I, together with Joe Tsai and Clara Wu Tsai, met with Kevin Durant and Rich Kleiman in Los Angeles yesterday. We have agreed to move forward with our partnership. We're focusing on basketball and one collective goal in mind: build a lasting franchise to bring a championship to Brooklyn. Durant initially asked to be traded June 30th. The 4-year, $198 million extension Durant signed last offseason kicks in this season. Your reaction?
Oh, what the hell did I say? Told you his ass wasn't going anywhere.
Stephen A. coming in hot, man. I like it.
Stay your behind right where you are. Period. Period. Let me tell you something right now. You know what that statement says? Let me tell you exactly what that statement said. Stay your behind right here. Notice they said Steve Nash and I. Remember?
Yes, and I gotta, man, Stephen A. is going the right direction. Listen, man. The reality of the situation is the Nets, they didn't lament on anything. They didn't take a step back on anything. They got everything they wanted, which is the commitment from Kyrie Irving. They got Kevin Durant's commitment. They did not fire Steve Nash. They did not fire Sean Marks. They didn't trade. They didn't really even entertain anything that wasn't going to be a king's ransom. So the Nets won this all outright. This is a straight flush, right? And that's what I said in my videos. Like, there's just no leverage. KD, you so mismanaged this, man. You mismanaged it because you're so good, yet you're too old, whereas there's no real market for you. Miami, if they gave a king's ransom, yes, but I mean, Miami feels like they're a step away. So obviously KD helps their situation, but they're not getting rid of Bam Adebayo, right? Phoenix understands the importance of bringing in Kevin Durant, but they're not getting rid of Devin Booker. The Celtics want Kevin Durant, but they're not getting rid of a Jason Tatum. So you're kind of boxed in by your profile because, yeah, they'll give up a Jaylen Brown. They're not giving up the Ferrari that is your boy Jason Tatum, who's going to put asses in the seats the next 10 years. They ain't doing that. Not for you. So, I mean, and let's be honest, they wouldn't do it for LeBron. If LeBron decided he wanted to leave LA, he wanted to force his hand, LeBron would understand how brutal his market is for him as well. So I'm not trying to, shit on KD specifically, but dog, read the room, bro. Read the goddamn room. Shit. And shout out to Primetime in the building says, good evening, my swag brother, D.I. Love, Jackson State University Tigers. Yeah, man, good to see you, Prime. Good to see you. All right, let's keep it going.
Kevin Durant wanted them gone. according to reports. If those
Yes, the
reports are
GM and the
true.
coach. He
That's
said
right.
it's me or them. Yes.
So he said Steve Nash. Now, he could have said the Brooklyn Nets and Kevin Durant has agreed to stay. No, he said we, with our ownership, met with Kevin Durant in Brooklyn, in LA, to let y'all know he ain't going no damn place. That's all that means. Ain't breaking news, y'all. Stay your ass right there. Period. You got 4 years, $198 million. And before one day is honored, you asking out? No. I gave you.
Yes, man. And Stephen A, again, he's cooking, dog. You cannot let these players, and it's going to sound, I know there's a lot of players advocates out here, and I understand some people have this thing on their mind that the players, they should be able to do what they want to do because they sell the league and fans almost, adapt to them. And that's not false. That's not false. However, at the end of the day, the franchise is the multi-billion-dollar entity. They pay the players. So you don't ever want to set up a precedent that your corporate brass, your leadership council, as it were, that you will capitulate to the whims of players who are mobile. They're in and out. You never want to set a precedent that way because nobody's going to respect what you do there. And from that standpoint, I'm glad the Nets stood firm because, listen, man, you can want to leave. That's cool. You don't always get what you want, man.
Kyrie, I gave you DeAndre Jordan. I gave you Steve Nash and everything else in between. When healthy, you are the best player on the planet. When all of y'all are bought in, we are a legit top 3, top 14.
And let me say this too. I see night bodies going ham. Prime time. Ignore my I gotta adjust the settings on that. So when you use emojis, it don't like that so much. So ignore that, bro. Yeah, damn, it can't make you like a sick dog.
Even an NBA who could win the chip. Where the hell are you going? You ain't going no damn where. So all of this news is nice. We're touched. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all sat down, like Kevin Durant's like, well, I've reconsidered and yeah, I want to stay.
Basically talking about saving face. I think KD needs to save face. Well, you know what? I don't think KD gives a shit. I think KD just takes everything on the chin. KD strikes me as the kind of guy that'll step in like 18 puddles of mud and just like, well, I'm going to just clean my shoe. I'm going to keep on stepping how I want to step. So, I mean, it is what it is. KD seems to be a pretty resilient guy, even though highly emotional, in my opinion.
No! You have a contract. We got 4 years. You ain't going no place.
But as a fan, it's breaking news because I didn't know if Kevin Durant would be there.
I'm just telling you the fans what.
And Molly's right. I mean, for the general consensus, this is definitely breaking news because you just didn't know how it would play. But I mean, again, I laid out my first video. I was like, Kyrie has no leverage. KD has no leverage. Because Kyrie's problem is, yes, he's at the back end of his contract, but there's no market for him because he's shown to be a relatively disloyal guy in the sense that he doesn't honor his commitment. So you think somebody gonna break the door down and go move Earth in the moon to sign him? Absolutely not. People don't know where your loyalties lie. Well, your loyalties lie rather. With KD, your problem is you got too much. You have too many years left in your contract, and you're 30, about to be 34. You're just not a spring chicken anymore, dude. Like you can't move the market like that. So if somebody, and well, I'll give you this too. Your boy Rudy Gobert messed this market all up. For what they gave up, for Minnesota, that set a precedent that, like, I mean, guys looking like, yeah, I want KD, but if Rudy Gobert got that, we ain't got nothing to offer you. So that's kind of one thing reacting to the next, and then that leads to the market being reestablished, and the market just got too saturated for your boy Kevin Durant. Let's keep going.
We knew he wasn't going. Which is what I was on vacation, right? I was out for a while. I came back. What did I say first day on the show? You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going no place.
Yeah.
You're going to stay right here. You too great. Kevin Durant is phenomenal. I ain't giving him up. Kevin Durant is worse than half the teams in the NBA.
Salute to Greenleaf in the building, man. Y'all go subscribe to my boy, man. All H-Town content with the Houston Rockets. Got a good little barbershop feel going over there. I was on the show yesterday when I was at work for about 20, 30 minutes. And so y'all go subscribe to my boy Greenleaf, man.
He's worth more than half the teams in the NBA. That's how phenomenal he is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you go when I got you locked in for 5 years because you moody. You got an attitude.
Talking about, I'm being petty. Did he say 5 years he held up 4 fingers?
You got an attitude because of
Am I
5 years because you moved, let you go when I got you locked.
5 years with 4 fingers up. That boy Stephen A. something else, boy. Salute to my boy, and salute First Greenleaf. Appreciate you, bro. Salute to my guy, Raw Truth Media, my guy DJ, aka the person that brought me to YouTube. Also, H-Town brother, man. Y'all need to link as well, man. Both of y'all make great content. So I love to see guys collaborate. Memphis 10 in the building, that's my guy. Appreciate you, Memphis, pulling up on me. Let's keep going. 5 years, 4 fingers, man. Stephen A. Smith at his finest, bro. Oh, we got one more here. And shout out to my boy Big Spell in the building, man. He been with the channel when my channel wasn't shit. Shout out to my boy Big Spell, man. Good to see you, bro.
Locked in for 5 years because you moody. You got an attitude.
And that's why I say he's moody. KD, to me, strikes me as a guy, his passions go all over the place. Now, not as bad as your Kyrie Irvings of the world. Kyrie Irving is just like, on that, again, y'all remember when Martin went to that monk, that monk little, what they call it, freaking convent, and he was at home all around, and he climbed, like, the man who sleeps on the floor never falls out of bed. You remember that episode? That's what Kyrie strikes me as. KD just strikes me as just a person just, yeah, I'm happy today, I'm sad tomorrow, I'm mad, I'm happy, I'm sad. Like, he's all over the place. So the similar diagnosis, just different symptoms, if that makes sense.
Because of a situation you created, I do everything. I'm a billionaire. And I sat up there and said, what you want? Here you go. I really don't want Kyrie, but I'll take him. I really don't want to give DeAndre Jordan $40 million at this stage and point in his career, but I'll take him. And Steve Nash has no experience as a coach on any level, high school, college, or pro. But you
not necessarily true. He was assistant coach for the Warriors a little bit as a little advisor. That's not necessarily true. But the sentiment is true.
Signed off on him. And
yes, he did. So, man, listen, dog. Kevin Durant, again, my favorite player, but I'm not gonna let you off the hook, dog. These are all things you wanted. So if I'm gonna be on LeBron ass, you bringing these old motherfuckers come in and it don't work out, I gotta be on KD ass too for the same stuff. You getting concessions and you ain't get it done, so you don't get to run, bro. You don't get to run when it get hot. Lord have mercy. DJ, man, you feel me, man? Shout out to Martin, man. That was a hilarious episode. KD think with his emotions, says first thing. Yes, he does. He what you call diarrhea of the mouth. KD struggles with that a lot, in my opinion. Again, that's my guy, but I gotta be honest about my guy.
now you gonna leave because we didn't want to give Kyrie Irving a long.
Oh, y'all hit that like button too, man. Let's get some more people in here, man. I appreciate y'all pulling up on your boy, man.
Term extension because the brother missed 60% of his games in his 3-year career.
I like this comment. Yes, NCCU dog in the building also says their offense was so plain last year. Yeah, and I lamented on that several times over, man. Their offense is horrible, man. It's so stagnant, it's so predictable, and that's why Boston was so easy for them to defend that, because there's no creativity. There's no organic flow. It's just ISO Kyrie, ISO KD, ISO Kyrie, ISO KD. That's easy to guard. I mean, I understand those are two very hard dudes to guard, but the problem is you got a thing called help defense. So you can come and help knowing that person is going to dribble the air out the goddamn ball. So that does not lead to championship conducive basketball. And that's why I said from day one, let's take it back 7 months. When they made that trade for James Harden with Ben Simmons, like Ben Simmons is the cheat code. He unlocks that problem that they have, because on defense, he's going to step up. And on offense, he's unselfish and he doesn't even want to shoot, which is perfect for KD and Kyrie. It's perfect. So, and I just said from inception, like, dude, KD, just ride it out. Like, this is a good situation for you. The storyline does not, lend itself there right now. But hell, Golden State storyline wasn't great this time last year. Nobody gave a damn about Jordan Poole this time last year. People were damn near out on Andrew Wiggins this time last year. Now, Hoop Jargon wasn't. I got receipts on here to show that. But it doesn't matter about the narrative, because the narrative was around the Lakers when they brought in Russell Westbrook. Again, not toot my own horn, but toot. I said, no, that shit ain't gonna work. Man, worry about what you got in that foxhole, man. Go look your guys in the eye, man, and figure that out, because y'all got the pieces, man. Y'all got the pieces. KD needs some male energy, man. Lord have mercy. You ain't never lied. SMG V Cash Out says, I remember when Hoop was the first one to tell about Donda Academy. Shout out. Appreciate it. Man, funny backstory on that. Robert Dillingham's father he reached out to me via Instagram. And I had 2 phone conversations with him, man. And man, I'll go ahead and spill the beans a little bit. He was very concerned that Kanye, via the coach, stole his son from that program that your boy Jeff McGinnis was rolling with out there in North Carolina, and brought him all out here to LA to play for Donda Academy. His dad was very, very concerned behind that, because his kid was like, 16? So he reached out to me. I had 2 conversations with Mr. Dillingham, man, and it's all because those videos I dropped. So, man, I appreciate you remembering that, because I almost had an interview with him, and he said that LeBron can't reach out to him, but he said, you're the first person I seen. I like what you do. I'd rather give you the story. And so I'm gonna see if I can find. I actually got his number still saved. Obviously, I wouldn't put that over the internet, but yeah, that's a funny backstory to that story. It didn't quite come out, but I guess the family has rectified things, But he reached out to me because of that reason, man. He was not happy that his boy left that Jeff McGinnis program and came over here to LA to go to Donda Prep. So funny ass backstory, man. Great comment. Shad Brown, Sports and Face says, KD, my guy as well. He should have stayed with. Yeah, he should have stayed with Golden State. Golden State was the best for him as far as basketball, but I mean, you know how it goes, man. People are narrative driven. They're not necessarily fair. So he had to go somewhere and establish his own. And my whole thing was, okay, if you're gonna go establish your own, bro, you got to see the project through, dog. You can't be wishy-washy, my boy. You can't be wishy-washy. NCCU dog says it's the same thing as when Bron and Kyrie together. Hey, man, there you go, man. There you go. Your turn, my turn. Exactly. And Kobe Bryant said this. Don't trust Hoop Jargon. Kobe Bryant said that system is called a 2-crown system, and it's really good, but it's very stagnant for everybody else. So it's good when they have the synergy going, but when LeBron and Kyrie aren't cooking, there's no other movement for anybody else. And that's pretty much what's going on with Brooklyn. So that 2-crown system with 2 wing players, not always the greatest way. Let's keep going.
Real with us?
All right.
You ain't going nowhere.
So let's do this for people who are just joining us who didn't see the show earlier. So now we have what we wanted. We have KD, we have Kyrie, we have Ben Simmons across the bridge here. How far are they going?
If they play, because that's a big if. We have to
Let's assume health and they're playing full time.
Let's assume health and they're all in playing full time. At the minimum, they going to the conference finals.
Agreed.
They probably gonna be in the finals.
Agreed.
It's KD. And I don't care what you heard me say about Kyrie. I always remind y'all, the brother box office.
That's Stephen A's. That's his word, box office. There's nothing else he gonna say. He's box office. He's top 10. Shout out to Stephen A, man. He stick to his talking points, man.
He is spectacular. Kyrie Irving, if Kyrie Irving tells y'all he all in and he gonna play, you buy your season tickets to go watch that brother, because that's what kind of a showstopper he is. He's that freaking special.
Talk to him, Stephen A, because he is, man. Listen, man, and shout out to Sub-Zero, man. He comes on this channel a lot, man. That's my unofficial co-host. You can't cheat your way to greatness, man. You gotta go through the rigors that it takes for you to get to that next level, man. And I'm just getting so tired of these dudes trying to shortcut things, man. Listen, dog. Sometimes you got to go through a little fire, man. Sometimes you got to go through a little adversity. So I'm glad that KD finally came to his senses. I'm glad they had a nice little powwow. And I'm glad they got together, man. And so Shad Brown, Sports and Faith also says, I agree, Hoop. He needs to stay with Brooklyn now. This is the best place. Absolutely. When you got up and left, bro, this is where your life is, man. You need to see this project through. Because if you don't succeed, you know what? People going to respect the fact that you stuck it out. And respect goes a long way as far as legacy, man. And people say all the time, I don't care about legacy. Give me the money. That's cool. But when you sit down and you're 60, when you're 50 years old and you can't hoop no more, obviously, you're going to care what people said about you. You just are. Because how is that? Because these dudes always say that. And they always show that they care. So why not get in front of that and solidify your legacy while you can control it? And my boy Between the Game Sports says, yo, we're in the building. Yeah, man, y'all go follow my guy, Will. Between the Game Sports. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna play a little bit of a one more video, and then I'm gonna drop the link, man. If y'all want to come up and talk y'all ish on this topic, man, I'd love to have you up here. So let me say, so this is gonna be from that's the wrong thing. So this is from a video I dropped a month ago when he first demanded a trade. So again, I want to let you guys know my opinions are not Johnny come lately opinions. I usually get in front of these things because, you know, I'm a salesman by trade. I think I understand people at a pretty high clip overall. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but, you know, it's important that I get in front of these so I can come back and then, you know, have my receipts, you know, so I can look like I said something. So again, this is from 1 month ago. And the title of this video is called KD Has Probably Sealed His Fate. And the premise of this video is by him demanding a trade, you're going to look weak and people are not going to revere you like you want to be revered, because obviously you want to, because you hop on Twitter and argue with trolls all the time, right? So this was what I'm saying, like, KD, you probably sealed your fate, homeboy. So let's see what I said. I'm going to take a little snippet and then we'll rock it from here.
All right, for more KD, our NBA columnist and insider Bill Ryder, who's been busy the past couple of days, and last night was probably a little bit more up the ante there. Once the news kind of came out, it kind of reminded me of the scene with Michael Cowell in The Office saying, this is happening.
I'm not going to lie. When I first heard this, I was just like, no. And this is me talking from a month ago. No way. No way. No way KD is requesting a trade. Not with all this going on. Because, again, self-awareness, if you stick it through with all this Kyrie chaos and you, Kyrie and Ben Simmons do work, people would give you so much credit. Like, man, KD had to deal with all that shit and he still got it done. That's what I just said. People give you credit for sticking it through. But, hey, man, at the end of the day, you got one shot at this thing called life. So you make your decisions and your decisions matter. I just can kind of sit back and quarterback from my couch literally right now and kind of just read the tea leaves, and they don't read well, man. I just have to say, I got to be honest.
Kind of walk us through what's the next steps for Brooklyn and the future Hall of Fame there.
Yeah, what an earthquake of a story. We thought it was possible, and then it just dropped out of the sky earlier, I think, than most of us expected. A few things at play here, Brandon. Obviously, Durant and the Nets are going to have a divorce. There's no going back from this. I think the big question will be to what...
See, now again, these... now, I mean, everybody has the license to be wrong. But he's saying that they have to divorce from this, and that's not what happened. And my whole opinion was, I mean, what do you mean? There's no leverage here from KD. Brooklyn wants him to play for them because you cannot trade equal value for Kevin Durant. So what? Just because the fact he's pissed off, why is that incentive to trade him? Because KD, he has to play. KD will not sit out. KD is one of them dudes who they're driven by basketball. So knowing, and I said this in my last video, knowing personality types, you know what he is. He is a hooper. He's not a guy like Kyrie Kyrie would sit the fuck down and like tell you to deal with it. That's not Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball. That is what drives him in life. Come on now. And shout out to my guy, Rap God in the building, man. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, my bro. And Zach on the Facebook side says they always do that. Always want the worst case. Exactly. It's chaos. Like, no. There's no way. Like, I never said that Brooklyn got to get rid of him. I never said that. But this is the dude, blue check, right? This is a blue check cat right here, right? What's this dude?
Yeah, well, what an earthquake of a story. We thought it was possible, and then it just dropped out of the sky earlier, I think.
It's your man, Bill Ryder, man. Straight blue checker, right? Blue checker. He said that they have to do it. And your boy Hoop Jargon over here sitting on 2,000 subscribers. By the way, if you're new to the channel, y'all hit the subscribe button. If you like what's going on, hit the super chat, hit the Cash App. All those things help. Let us proceed forward. I'm giving y'all this for free. This dude over here getting paid a lot of y'all.
Than most of us expected. A few things at play here, Brandon. Obviously, Durant and the Nets are going to have a divorce. There's no going back.
There's no obviously, dude. There's no obviously. Again, you know, it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, so I can say I'm right. But in moment, I wasn't feeling that. Like, nah, it's not obviously anything. Say KD's a poor man's Kobe with a better person. That's pretty accurate. Maybe that's why I'm a fan of his, because Kobe was my last favorite player. That's pretty accurate.
I think the big question will be to what degree, if any, Sean Marks, who runs basketball operations for the Nets, he's their general manager, is open to the idea of helping Durant get where he wants to go. Because
so for those who knew, this is a post from a month ago. This is me talking from a month ago in a CBS Sports stream from a month ago. So to give you context of what's going on.
Frankly, the Miami Heat are hand-tied. It's very difficult under the cap rules for them to make a deal for Durant. It can be done, but it's difficult. And the same is true for the Suns. DeAndre Ayton in a sign and trade would hard cap the Nets. There may not be the assets that Brooklyn wants in return. So if Sean Marks wants to work with...
My question is, how do they even come up with this list? And I stand on that. Like, how do you sit down and create odds of a trade scenario when you don't have intimate information? It's the Matrix, man. It's so crazy how people come up with these things and people really respect these kind of things. Like, this makes no sense. This flow chart. Shout out to Already Hoop in the Building says, I'm going to pick Milwaukee and Brooklyn for the Eastern Conference Finals. Hey, you be a smart man to go that direction, bro. I'm with you. Simmons, KD, and Kyrie make ECF. Absolutely. Absolutely. I got no objections to that, my brother. How do you come up with an odds list and like really have a numerical flow chart? How do you even do that? I don't understand. Like, these things always kind of throw me off. How you quantify these kind of things. And shout out to Between the Game Sports. I go sell it to my boy Will. He also says, yo, he looking sharp and soft. He really is, man. Again, this is hard for me to admit. I mean, well, it's not hard for me to actually, it's hard for me to say because I like KD a lot. But hey, we keep it a thigh wild over here, man. Just saying.
Durant, there's one outcome, and it's work with those two teams. This might be literally the most valuable player.
Why the hell are the Knicks on there? Like, what can the Knicks offer? Man, I stand on that too. Like, how are the Knicks in play? Just because they're a popular team? Like, what could... Man, I'm wasting my breath. This graphic is so trash, man. It literally, they're just making shit up. They're literally just making shit up and putting it for public consumption. It's crazy, man, for Kevin Durant that he don't already have it in Brooklyn. Like, I don't understand that. Portland, maybe Dame, the Thunder, like, I mean, okay, maybe nostalgia. Okay, I'll entertain that a little bit. The Bulls, they got a good little nucleus. Lakers, I guess, some Hail Mary situation. But why are the Knicks on that list?
Player in the history of the sport to be traded when you consider the fact that he's still at the top of his game, is a top, 3-4 player?
Exactly. The Knicks are in shambles. The Knicks in shambles. They've been in shambles the last 40 years. If we're being honest. Even when they got Melo, your boy Tyson Chandler, and Chauncey Billups, and Amari Stoudemire, they stay in shambles, man. Like, come on.
Or better in the NBA, and as you noted, has 4 years left on his deal. So if Sean Marks, as I think he should, and so do people around the league, says to Kevin Durant, we're going to send you where we get the best return, then you're talking about a free-for-all, and I would say half of the teams in the league or more will try to make a play.
Which did not, this opinion aged so horribly. Half the league did not converge upon this deal because you cannot give equal value to Kevin Durant because let's just say that Rudy Gobert situation never existed. You're still going to give up at least 3 first-rounders. Rudy Gobert got, what, 5? So he messed the market all up. So, no, the league did not clamor over this. It's like roughly about 5 teams, 3 of which was on his little personal list because there's no market. The market's too priced out. This is almost like, I won't use her as an example. Let's just say, well, okay, I'll use this one, Larissa Pippen. Larissa Pippen is damn near priced out the dating market because, okay, she's the former wife of Scottie Pippen. So as we know, she cheated on Pippen with Future, and you know that didn't work out, and she had a couple flings, and she actually recently was saying it's hard for her to find somebody, quote unquote, on her level. Meaning, she is a former NBA wife, so she's used to a certain lavish lifestyle where she ain't cashing the money out. And the reality is she's 47 years old now. Like nobody's looking for a 47-year-old woman. I mean, she's beautiful. I'll give her that. But with 4 kids, no. I mean, I understand. You Scottie Pippen's leftovers? No. Her best bet is go back to Scottie. Because Scottie will still take her back, in my opinion. That's kind of what KD is. You best go back to Brooklyn, bro. Like, nobody can offer you what you're used to. Nobody can offer you that. Oh, Flight Sports in the building. I knew you like those Knicks comments. Slow down on my Knicks. He said, when us get done, he says, when this get done, I don't want to see y'all. I figured you like that Flight. Shout out to Flight, man. Coming from Long Island, New York, man. Shout out to my boy Flight. So let's keep going. Which they should. Which they should. If this is true, they definitely should put all their chips to the middle and try to land a talent like Kevin Durant.
Brooklyn unable to take care of their own there, but other teams doing that yesterday once everything kind of opened up at 6 p.m. Jokic, Bill, Cat, and also Morant.
Let's welcome back in our good friend Avery Johnson here. All right, Avery, what is...
All right, so I'll end it here, man. So now I know there's a part in there where I said that KD has no leverage, but you know, I don't want to go through all this Avery Johnson commentary, even though Avery Johnson has some pretty good commentary on here. But the sentiment is still attacked. I think I laid my thesis out well enough. So let me put the link out, man. If somebody wants to come up here and talk about it, let's talk about it. What do you think about this situation with KD deciding to stay in Brooklyn? Do you think that means them success? Do you think it's going to be a situation with turmoil, you know, hard feelings? Because, I mean, reality is this. It's not always what people say, it's what they do. And what it could read is the relationships are so fractured that they can't go back to what they was. But y'all let me know. If you feel that way, let's talk about it. Tell me what you think. Tell me what scenario looks good for the Nets. And Rap God says the Nets will implode. Well, I think they can implode. I think it's a very much a viable chance they could. Now, is that actually going to happen? If I'm a betting man, I say no. But I think it's a chance it can happen. So let's go ahead and bring my boy Chris Burton up here, man. Chris, what you got, bro?
Man, this is more drama, man. With this whole next Kevin Durant thing, this is ridiculous.
It is. It is. So you break it down on from your perspective. What about it is ridiculous?
Well, if I had to take a wild guess on what really happened, they said, Kevin, we ain't trading you unless we get a player of your value. And once they looked around the landscape, they realized none of these teams getting their value. They said, nah, bro, we ain't going nowhere. And he got 4 years left, so what you gonna do, retire?
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where my point was, you know, initially. It's like, dude, you don't have leverage. Like, you can't force yourself out of a 3-year contract. You're 34 years old. You're the best player in the NBA, or at least the top 3, depending on who you ask. Like, no. Shit. No.
It would take the Bucks trading Giannis to get equal value.
Pretty much.
And we know that ain't happening.
Yeah, the Bucks would be idiots to do that, because reality is Giannis is what, 27? KD's 34? Like, he'd be crazy to make that trade.
And Giannis actually wants to be there. So that too. Giannis ain't going anywhere.
That's a great point.
If Kevin go to Milwaukee, he might be happy for 2 years, 3 years tops.
Yeah. I mean, he don't want to go down Milwaukee. Yeah, exactly. And he didn't have to fake like he wanted to be there. Which, man, my first job I took overseas, I went to Portugal, man. I was in a small-ass city called Vila Pouca de Aguiar. 2,000 people roughly in that city, and they didn't like dark-skinned dudes. And by they, I mean the females. I took that job with the intent the first day that how can I get the hell out of here? That was my mentality day one. And so Milwaukee, I mean, I know he played in Oklahoma City, but that was more like a few things. That's Big 12 country. KD obviously coming from the University of Texas, so out there going to Oklahoma City. There's OU fans who appreciated what he was, and Big 12 fans, and yada yada yada. It was organic. But him going to Milwaukee, where he doesn't really have any ties to the Midwest, nah, I don't see it, bro.
Yeah, man, KD, man, I don't know, man. He just find a way to work this out in Brooklyn, because, as we all know, the last time we saw him playing, they got swept, and it was beyond embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the owner basically just flexed right now. He said, he flexed. He told him, well, if you want to keep me, you're gonna have to fire Marks and Nash. The owner said, nah, I ain't doing that. And as you can see, Kevin ain't going nowhere. So the owner just flexed and say, nah, bro, I got the leverage.
No, that's facts. Because, I mean, from every optical sense, there's no way that KD could force the Joe Tsai's hand. There's no avenue there. He could have said, okay, let me exploit this little part. Besides the fact that Steve Nash is a horrible coach, but I mean, Steve Nash is inconsequential for the power bounce from the Jersey Nets. The only way KD, in my mind, could have forced himself out of, let's say Sean Marks did some just dastardly stuff, like some John Gruden level racist stuff. Then KD would have asked. That's pretty much the only scenario I see where KD could have wiggled out of that. Since that wasn't the case, and Sean Marks just may be a poor communicator, as I lamented to on my stream a few weeks ago. I mean, but still, it's like you don't fire a guy for that. You don't fire a guy for that if that's your guy. Like, you fire him for just doing some shit that's going to embarrass the team, embarrass the franchise, aka your investment. That's when you fire a dude, not because the player don't necessarily care for him. Damn all that. Now, if KD been there for 15 years, maybe it's a different discussion. But you've been there, 3 years? And you think you're going to just uproot what Joe Tsai is building and what Joe Tsai is trying to, incorporate as far as culture and standards? No, hell no. And good for Joe Tsai for holding his ground. Good for him.
Yep. And as far as Nash goes, I mean, he's not the greatest coach, but remember, KD Kyrie said we don't need a coach. So,
yeah. That's right.
We don't need a coach. Apparently, y'all do need a coach because y'all got swept.
Facts. Kyrie literally said that out of his mouth, so it's no backing off from that. So,
yeah, ain't no way to take that back.
Yeah, you can't re-engineer. So let me ask you this: what's your opinion with the reemergence of Ben Simmons? How do you see that working out?
Ben Simmons?
Yeah.
If he plays, we know Ben what he can do defensive wise and passing wise, but this Ben Simmons we talking about, so we don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, he's had a good he's literally had a year of rest. So he should be ready come next season.
True. I look at it so is that like Ben strikes me as the kind of guy who has an opportunity to redeem himself. Because he looks like, I mean, you know what, again, this is a perfect formula of order from chaos. You got Ben Simmons looking like soft as baby shit because him checking out the situation in Philadelphia. You got Kyrie looking just out there, just, on some untethered to reality stuff by, having the conviction not take the other COVID shots. Good for him. So then saying that he don't really care about basketball like that. There's bigger things in life and all that good stuff. And then you got KD out of nowhere demanding a trade. So it's like, it's a lot of chaotic figures that play into a whole that I think if they just sat down and they just hammered out, all three of their scenarios would be rectified with their success. And people, I would venture to say people would elevate their profiles innumerably to a next level if they sat down and figured it out, because right now it looks like a goddamn mess. But from a basketball standpoint, I don't think it's a mess at all. I think it's actually really a good basketball situation. So to me, if they do well, I'm not gonna act like it's just the greatest thing I ever saw because I expect it. But from a narrative standpoint, it looks like, man, they just took this shambles and they figured it out. And man, those guys are great. And I would venture to say if they did that, it would help their careers out so much. So from their order of chaos theory, I just find it real funny, man, of how that potentially they can do that.
Yeah, right now it looks like, as I said it, just drama. It looks like a Netflix drama series with these two. But when it kills all. If they come out next year and they win, they stay healthy first, have some great chemistry and go to the finals, that'll cure everything. But if they have another season like this past season, if you think it's bad now, it might get even worse next season.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I think Kyrie, this is last year of his contract. Maybe he has 2 years left. Yeah, because
he's got one.
He got 1 year left.
Yeah, he opted into his last year.
Okay, so this is it. Yeah, because now Kyrie can walk. KD still will have 3 more years, and you still got the same management. Yeah, absolutely. So if they don't have some modicum of success, then yeah, I really hate to see how that would look because it's going to be a mess. I agree.
And Kyrie pretty much will be a Laker at this point.
You said he was?
He probably want to be a Laker.
I think so too, man. I'm just, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see LeBron and Kyrie part 2. But I mean, if he can walk, that's probably where he's going. He's coming over here out here to LA. That's cool. But I just don't think it's a whole other discussion for another day. But I don't think that fixes what our problem is. Our problem is defense and youth and playing organic basketball. It's not bringing another name in. We did that already. Bringing in Westbrook, who's supposed to be a name. We did nothing. That's not our problem. So besides LA, where could you see Kyrie going besides LA?
That's a good question. I can't think of another team right now. It also another team that want to put up with Kyrie because Kyrie is great of a player. He is. He could be a headache at times. And then you can have, as we saw last season, he might just wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm going to take some time out. And he's going to be gone for a couple weeks. And then you got the vaccine. I mean, you do what you want to do with the vaccine, but you only played, about 28 games last year? So there was no – and then at the end of the season, this is my favorite, he said, that there was no chemistry. So I'm like, you was part of the reason why there was no chemistry. So it's mostly your fault.
It's like no shit, Sherlock. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, again, man, I use this term a lot. It's called being tone deaf, man. But when you're tone deaf, you don't understand how other people perceive you. And I think that locker room was just filled with tone deaf guys. Well, not filled with their actual talent. The main, put it that way. Ben Simmons, tone deaf as hell. KD, tone deaf as hell. Kyrie, tone deaf as hell. It's almost like, damn, like who? And I said this on
Who's the leader?
Huh?
Who is the leader? As I think you're trying to get there.
What's the direction? Better question. What's the direction of like? What are they trying to do with that? Well, Raptor says Kyrie is bipolar, likely got mental issues. Yeah. I also think Kyrie is a brilliant guy too, so it's hard to.
Kyrie's brilliant, but he thinks he's the only brilliant person in the room. That's the problem.
Agreed. So, this goddamn Nightbot is in the chat going ham. Y'all excuse this damn Nightbot, man. I gotta tweet this shit. Oh man, I gotta tweet that shit. Nightbot is going ham, putting people out. But I mean, listen, man. You gotta have some masculine energy in which you guys are going to win. And here's what I mean. When I look at the Golden State Warriors, you got Steph Curry, Steph Curry's father energy. You got Klay Thompson with Michael Thompson's father energy. You got Steve Curry be on some pussy shit sometimes and he socially. But that's another story for that. But they don't have a lot. Huh?
Draymond.
Well, yeah. So now about to get Draymond. So as far as the top level, quote unquote, we got like stable-minded people working towards a goal. Now you throw in Draymond Green, who's a wild card. Draymond Green, raised by single mother. It is what it is. He has that frenetic energy, and it works because the upper structure of that team is solid. Now let's reverse it. Let's say Steph Curry had Draymond Green's personality. Do you think that team would have been as successful as they've been over these years?
Probably not.
Why not?
They probably could, but there's only one Draymond, and Draymond Draymond's got a crazy personality, but Draymond, believe it or not, is a pretty good leader. Like the defense, I said forever, that defense ends with Draymond, because if Draymond is there, the defense is certainly not as good. Right. And then you got a facilitator. He's a great facilitator. But the thing with the Warriors, we know, okay, if it's time somebody got to say something, Draymond's gonna mostly talk. Steph Curry more of that person who, he's a good leader, but he doesn't talk as much. That's Steph Curry. He's more of the quiet leader. Draymond's more of the loud.
Well, and you're not wrong. And so let me ask a question this way: If the team had to rely mostly on Draymond Green and his personality, and I'll give you everything you said about him, which is true. If he had to be the alpha, the leader, would that work?
It probably could work.
Well, we saw him do that when the team didn't have as much talent when Steph was out and when Clay was out.
Well, yeah, he got the talent right. It could work.
Well, exactly though. So it didn't look like it at all to me. And I'm a Draymond Green fan, but I'm realistic. To me, Draymond Green is an ancillary player. He's a guy, if you give him talent around, like you just said, he'll look damn good. But he's not a guy that who can, just on his own merit, elevate a team, a.k.a. can't be the alpha. So what I just said. Let's say Steph Curry was as talented as he is, but he had Draymond's mentality. What that leads to is guys getting pissed off. It leads to guys being imbalanced. It leads to guys having, mental disarray because, man, I got to say, when you're on a team and your team captain is nuts, it's very hard to be on the same page. Very hard to be on it's almost like a speedboat where it's just bumping on every wave. Bump, bump, bump. Instead of like a big barge, just nice and solid, consistent. And I think most teams that you see win, their alpha has that type of character trait. And I can't think of a single team with a guy who's more frenetic minded where they won a championship. I can't think of one actually. Like Boogie Cousins, like Russell Westbrook. Those guys tend to be a good second piece. Because again, the mental health of the team, and I know I'm sounding like some old, foo-foo person talking about people and behavior, but it does mean a lot. And that's why Phil Jackson was a great coach. It wasn't because he's the greatest X and O coach. He stole a lot of shit from Tex Winter. That made him look better than what he was. But the thing that made Phil Jackson so great is he's a great manager of personality. So
exactly.
And that is.
And know how to work with egos.
Yeah, he know how to work with egos because that's a big part of the whole team dynamic. Shout out to my boy Sir Tice. Comes in with the $10 super chat, man. You know what that gets you over here, man. It gets you that dollar bill. Money. Yeah. Money. Yeah. Appreciate you, Sir Tice. Reads, owners, not governors. Yeah. And you know what, man? I got to say this, Chris. The term governors makes no sense to me. Like, dude, when you buy a goddamn house, you are the owner of your house. You're not the governor of your house, right? You're a business. The governor of the house. Business. You're not the governor of the business. And this is this soft left stuff, man. I'm gonna lose some of y'all on this, and it's cool.
No, you ain't gonna lose me. Go ahead.
Fair enough. So, what does it benefit grown-ass men who are multimillionaires to lie to them about what ownership is in the sake of not sounding racist? When the NBA has been doing this for 73 years, there's only been a 2-year thing with the governor concept. So for 73 years, the NBA has been calling it what it is, which it is an owner, but now it's like, a governor. Well, I don't want to go on a rant with that, but sometimes it infuriates me how simple-minded they think we are as colored men. It really does. Like, I understand what a goddamn owner is. I understand it's not a slave plantation. I understand I get paid better than 99.9% of people on this planet. I mean, semantics, we don't need a semantic win. I mean, being called, the owner being called a governor. Like, that kind of shit burns me up. But that's okay. Let me get back to it. So
I'm gonna say something about that. I mean, you literally pay for this team, and nowadays you gonna spend about a couple billion minimum. Yeah, you the damn owner. I know damn governor.
Because the governor's elected in, right? Owner just bought the motherfucker. So what are we talking about, man?
Because shoot, they didn't elect you. You paid a couple billion nowadays. It's about to get to the point that they said, the expansion team, they said, nah, bro, you got to put up $2 billion minimum. Use an owner.
Yeah. And they had no problem calling Michael Jordan the owner. But I mean, again, I don't even want to go there. I want to go there. Let me stay focused. So Sir Tice again coming in and says, owners, not governors, may not sell the league, but they take risks to absorb the losses. This is what fan player advocates forget. What's the point of a contract if you're not going to honor it? Yeah, absolutely. Like, because listen, man, this is always good pie in the sky when you're just looking at it from the player's perspective. But if you're a person who owns something and you expect the job to get done, listen, man, you're going to expect things to be done on your accord. And if you're not, I would venture to say you're a very poor owner. You're a very poor proprietor of your whatever you are progenitor over. So, meaning this, if you got let's say you run a halfway house, and you just let your workers do whatever, just because, hey man, the workers are the ones who are helping these people out, and it's just whatever they feel, you have a very unsuccessful business. And not only that, you have a madhouse. So you have to understand that there are certain things that come with being a progenitor of a product, and being that, you have to have standards. And you are who you are. If you own it, your name is on the paperwork, you are the owner. You're the owner. When you buy your car, you're the owner. And you take pride. You know, it's funny, it's the same thing I see with black people. When they buy a house, which is a beautiful thing. Officially homeowners, you got no problem using owner in that context, but then when it's over something that's an entity that you perceive as slave centric, you can't use that word no more. Man, that's how I get the fuck out of here. Go ahead, Chris.
No, you're not. No, you are the governor of that car, of that house. The governor. I'm like, this ain't a damn state.
I just find it funny, man. You know, from a lexicon standpoint, people are so comfortable, words that people are so comfortable to use in one context. But then when you try to make it about something else, when it's obviously not intended for that, you try to go the other way to try to disavow it. I'm just like, it's so disingenuous, dog. So disingenuous, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so that's a great comment by Sir Tice, man. Sir Tice always comes in with the great perspective. Rap guy says Sir Tice with the bars, absolutely. Don't really own anything. Well, it depends on how you view it. If you own land, that's a better way to own something. But I mean, your name is on there, and for someone to take it from you, there has to be an order of a pretty acute order of operations to take that from you if you do own it. But in a raw sense, you're not wrong. Sometimes that man's a business company. Yeah, exactly. Like nobody says that, dog. It's so funny. Take it when it comes to basketball team or sports, owning a team, because that's literally what it is. It's a team you paid for. Like we all understand these things. Go ahead.
Nah, that's it. I ain't got nothing else on that.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's all I'm about is just being honest, man. Be honest about what shit is. You don't have to lie. What they say, man, you ain't got a lot of kicking, man. You ain't got a lot of kicking. Just say what it is, man, and the truth shall set you free, as the church folks say. So, all right, so going back into what we're saying about the trade, the non-trade now with Brooklyn has to do. What other pieces? Because we got a lot of pieces out here in the free agency realm. And as a matter of fact, your boy Patrick Beverly called out KD for holding the free agents up. And my man, people got families to feed, which I think is some bullshit. Like, listen, bro, there's a such thing in this life called pecking order. And on every planet in the known galaxy, Kevin Durant's more valuable than you, bro. So you can't put that on him. And KD put a hashtag out after Pat Bev said he said hashtag blame KD. Listen, man. Reality is, if you were that good, teams would have signed your services. KD being in flux, yes, that does stagnate the free agency market, but tough titty, man. So
he said people got families to feed.
Yes, like dude, you're a multi-billionaire. Cry me a goddamn river, bro.
He will address pretty well.
Cry me a goddamn river, man. You're a multi-millionaire, homeboy. But so he said this. So you know what's ironic is I would love, and I said this on my last stream, I would like a guy like Patrick Beverley to go to Brooklyn, man. How would you fare about that? And who do you think Brooklyn needs to bring in to kind of shore up the gap?
Oh, Patrick Beverley would be great for Brooklyn.
You say what?
It'll be great for Brooklyn as a backup point guard.
You said lack of
because
point guard?
their defense. Yeah, as a backup point guard, the backup Kyrie.
Yeah. I think they also need wing defense too.
A wing. What about Steph Curry?
Well, Seth Curry is going to definitely help that out, in that capacity. I just think when they had guys like Spencer Dinwiddie and they just lost Patty Mills, so I think that was a big blow as far as, backup point guard support, like you said, and wing defense.
Yeah, that's championship experience.
Exactly. I hope a guy I want them to have is Taurean Prince still a part of that team?
Is who?
Prince.
Taurean Prince?
Yeah, Taurean Prince from Baylor.
I'm not sure.
I think he's left, so I think another guy like that is needed. And don't bring in no old ass Kent Bazemore. Don't bring in no old ass Trevor Ariza.
Carmelo.
Old ass Carmelo Anthony. You need some real new defensive talent, man. Like somebody on Maxi's level. Like
Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza's stock ain't been the highest since that Lakers championship. That was his highest level.
It was, but he got a lot of NBA money after that little stint of his, though. So
yeah, I mean, but as a player, that was his highest level. He had been that same player for a long time.
Agreed, but then he went back to Houston and cashed out. He went to Portland and cashed out. So I'm not gonna say he's been stealing NBA money per se, but he definitely extended his career. Because if you remember when Trevor Ariza was playing, man, he had a rocky start, man. He started off with Orlando, wasn't working out so great. Then he went to the Knicks, wasn't working out so great. And then the Lakers, maybe it was the Knicks, or the Knicks first, then Orlando, then he went to the Lakers, and that's when life changed for him. He went to the Rockets the first time, did a little bouncing, and they came back to the Rockets when they were pretty good again. So I mean, he's earned his keep per se. But I agree, the Lakers the first time was definitely the apex for him.
Yeah, because you had play defense and hit the wide open three.
Agreed. And really, the only reason why they traded him away is because Ron Artest was a better version of him.
Yeah, my Rockets, we had this crazy thought process. We think he's gonna be Trace McGrady or something. I'm like, no, it ain't him.
Absolutely not.
When he got here, I'm like, we overpaid. And it took like a year for us to realize, yep, that wasn't a good move. Like, yeah, y'all thought y'all was getting a superstar. And I'm like, no, that's not him.
True. Because if you remember the first time he came to Houston, boy, he came in gunning. Like, when he came from Orlando, as a matter of fact, because we traded Artest.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get Ron Artest? We traded him from y'all.
Y'all got Artest from us.
Yeah, because we gave y'all Ariza, and y'all gave us Artest. But yeah, so when he came in from Orlando, like you said, in straight T-Mac form, wearing number 1, came in with the same kind of build, came in gunning, and I saw that, I was like, oh no, that shit ain't gonna work.
Nah, that's not you, bro.
That shit ain't gonna work. That shit ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna hunt. Damn that.
Yeah, I'm like, you work with Kobe because You know you can play D, and no one playing with Kobe, you're going to get a line of wide open shot. So you can hit that three-pointer. But if we put that ball in and say, hey, Trevor's going to be the man, say, nah. No. That's not it.
But to be fair,
you got,
go ahead.
Yeah, put them in your strengths. That is not your strength.
But you know, I was a hater during this time when I told people, like, no, that's not Trevor Ariza game. He won us a championship, and Trevor Ariza would always be golden in my eyes. When he came to Houston doing that shit, I was like, oh no, that is not his game. That ain't his game by a long shot. Because when Trev started getting off is when he started playing hard defense first, and then, like you said, sit in the corner waiting for the three. Trevor Ariza now come out of high school. He was supposed to be that guy come out of California. He was supposed to be that dude. But I mean, so was Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler come out of Dominguez High School out here. He was supposed to be the next Kevin Durant. I'm sorry, Kevin Garnett. He turned out to be the next goddamn, like, I'm not going to go this far, but a Bill Russell archetype, more or less, when they thought he had offensive prowess. And so the point I'm making is you can show a lot of promise in high school. That's cool. But when you come to the big boys, man, shit change. And you better find your niche or you're going to get rolled the hell out the league. And so I think people trying to make Ariza more than what he was because he had the ability to do it, that wasn't the best decision. I'll give you one more example. JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee's supposed to be a big man who can bring the ball up and push the pace and all that. Had a little bit of range to shoot. He was most effective being, run the floor, rebound, in the rim. Nothing else. That's when he's the most effective.
Rim defense, rim protect. Rim protect.
Absolutely. And I think
that's why he works so well with the Lakers.
Absolutely. And the Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why the Lakers won that championship, because you got JaVale McGee down there rim protected, you got Dwight Howard down there rim protected. That team had a bunch of players who fit perfect in that system. And then unfortunately, Rob Pelinka decided to, you know what, I'm going to change up the whole team. And as you can see, a couple years later, it's only been, what, two years? Almost that whole team's gone.
Yeah, well, it was already kind of an old, it was kind of like his here now situation, so I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, some guy just said, he said KD and Ben Simmons are like the same beta personality.
Okay,
KD and Simmons have the same beta personality, zero leadership on the team. Yep, at 100%. I've said that there's no leadership on this team. Kevin Durant is like one of the best basketball players you find. But if you put in Kevin and say, okay, Kevin, you lead the team. Nope, that's not him. That's not him. He was perfect with the Warriors because he just, Kevin, just go score. Hey, there's not too many guys in the league that can score better than Kevin Durant.
Agreed.
That was a perfect position. But as you see with the Nets, they say, okay, Kevin, we want you to be leader. No, that's not his personality. And Kyrie it's showing his personality.
Shit. Kyrie Irving just
he tried in Boston.
Yeah. I think in essence they both are betas. I just think there's levels of beta. I think Kevin Durant wants to try to fight his stuff out of this beta. I think Ben Simmons is like, yo, I am who I am. Take it. Leave it.
Ben Simmons.
He had a younger era with like safe spaces and, you know, mental health and all that. And KD don't strike me as that kind of guy. KD strikes me as just, leave me the fuck alone and let me just hoop. Ben Simmons is like, well, you guys are kind of bullying me, and this isn't cool. I mean, he's from Australia too, man. So Lord knows is grooming. The kind of stuff he on, because his sister be wild now too. His sister's got a wild sister, man. And you know, with those type of people, we like to project our own stuff on them because we like to see, because we see the talent. We're like, man, you so good, man. Why are you tripping? Like, man, why are you doing this? personalities matter, man. I say this all the time. Personalities matter. And what Ben Simmons strikes me as is that Royce White archetype, which is, you know, a big focus on the mental aspect and the support aspect. And the other guys, you know, and maybe this is unhealthy to be this way, but just like, man, fuck all that. Give me the basketball and I'll figure it out. You can be crazy as hell, like a run our test, but you ain't worried about that mental health shit. You just trying to go out there and just be the best basketball player you can be. I think as sports fans, we tend to like those kind of guys more. But in reality, does it lead to them having more productive lives when they finish? Probably not. But we appreciate those guys more as they're actually playing. And it strikes me as KD is a little bit like that. But Ben Simmons is way on the opposite side of the spectrum. They're both betas, just different types of betas, if that makes sense.
I know what the point of KD. KD is sensitive. He's sensitive. It's like almost everything of sensitive. And for Ben, I don't know. Ben has been the same since that Trae Young situation where he was scared. I don't know how this happened. He's scared to dump the ball on Trae Young. And ever since then, Philly ate him up. Everybody knows Philly is the worst place to be if they turn on you. But at Brooklyn, that's not as great too because the New York media is going to talk about Ben if he don't deliver.
I think Ben's just a powder, man. I think he didn't do that shit because he was trying to prove a point. In his mind, he was trying to make a point. Because everybody's on his ass. And I think, you know what? I think Joel Embiid probably was the biggest culprit of that. You know what's funny? Joel Embiid has got as many letdown situations as Ben Simmons, to be honest. It's just that Ben Simmons don't talk. Joel Embiid is a big talker. And people tend to ingratiate themselves better with people who orate themselves better. So, yeah, from a letdown standpoint, it's not a big difference between the two players. It's just Ben, again, comes off a little more aloof. He comes off a little more unrelatable to people. And I think that kind of lends itself to, like, the reputation he got as well. Because, you know, it's just one of those things, man. It's so much, how can I put it? It's perception-based. And I made this comment about KD, about with this trade request. Because if it's LeBron James, very few people would have any smoke for him. Like, well, he came to the Lakers, they didn't give him no team because they like him more. But KD, he's just not that likable of a guy because he come off very combative. Come off very soft to people. So you can do a similar thing and people are going to perceive it differently because they like you differently. And, I mean, for example, him going and signing with Golden State Warriors. You know, LeBron was floating out the idea of going to play for Warriors. I didn't see many people at all nothing based about that. Nobody really had nothing bad to say. Well, I mean, you know, I can see that working. That's what most people are saying. So, I mean, it's just one of those things in the league, man. If people fucking with you, you can do no wrong. If they're not fucking with you, everything you do is wrong. And that's just the way of the world, man.
I agree.
And that's any vocation. It ain't got to just be basketball. So Royce White was out the league for not wanting to get on a plane, but flies to Big Three games. Damn. Boy, dropped the big on the conversation. Goddamn. So, and that comes off as entitlement. And people really don't like people who are entitled. So, yeah. That may be your keystone reason why Royce White got bounced out so quick because he had the talent. He had 6'8", to run the floor, could do. He basically, for me, was like a little baby Michael Beasley type of guy. I think he's about 6'7", actually. But yeah, so I mean, that's not gonna land favorably. It's hard for the average consumer to feel sorry for a guy that don't want to fly on a plane, but you want to be paid millions of dollars. Like it's like, bro, like. You gonna have to pick a struggle, homeboy. Ain't nobody force you to play the NBA. If that's what the terms of agreement are, then shit, you need to figure that out, man. That's not the NBA's job to figure that out, bro. So, man, question, since you're a Rockets fan, Houston advocate, What was your opinion on Royce White?
I didn't know what to do. I know how deep this situation was, but I heard about it before we drafted him. That he didn't like to fly. So I don't know, man. That's just the way that didn't work. But just so it's a lot of players in the league who are very talented. But I say this all the time. Everybody in the NBA can play ball. To play talent. If you couldn't play, you wouldn't be there. But it just shows you also is extra things to watch certain players on one level and certain players who you're like, dang, it's just not working with him. And that was Royce White because he had the game.
Absolutely.
But as you know, the NBA shoe just got the game. That ain't enough.
Nope. And that's kind of what I was just lamenting to. It's like, man, damn the game. Does your game fit? That's another thing that people miss out on. And I'll show this again. Don't take my word for it. Let's listen to Dane Irvin, the one of the scouts for the Phoenix Suns. This is his words, not mine. I'll give y'all some.
And in this corner, and when Devin or Chris throws you this ball, can you make 6 out of 10 shots? I don't care if your mother nor daddy was there. It does not matter.
There you go.
That's not an extra bonus. You're not getting graded on a curve. No one cares.
And it's Dane Irvin talking. They ain't got nothing to do with Hoop Jargon's opinion. That's a guy actually working for the Phoenix Suns. Run it back again for the slow ones.
And in this corner, and when Devin or Chris throws you this ball, can you make 6 out of 10 shots? I don't care if your mother nor daddy was there. It does not matter.
There you go.
That's not an extra bonus. You're not getting graded on a curve. No one cares.
No one cares, man. You're not getting graded on a curve, man. Can you give the type of talent that an NBA team wants? That's what matters, bro. That's what matters. So Shad Brown says, Hoop, you're exactly right, man. KD been doing what LeBron been doing. People heavily criticize KD. KD is talented as LeBron, but you're right. LeBron is like more, and he's the face of the league. I mean, listen. And likes to do this semantics war. Oh well, LeBron, he left as a free agent. KD, he left to a team that beat him when he was down to like, man, the narratives don't matter. You left. See, so I don't do that team association bullshit. Where like you tie a storyline in and you make something weak when not. LeBron left a damn good situation in Miami. Go back to Cleveland, right? He left a damn good situation in Cleveland to go to Miami in the first point. And that changed player mobility. Like it changed it forever. So I don't want to hear that shit. So, and I said, if it's not apples to apples, it's cousins to cousins. Like it's similar DNA, similar shit. So, but yeah, now it's people like you now. If people don't like you, then they're going to view it unfavorably. But
Yeah.
yes, man. Appreciate you.
You're a free agent.
Yeah, man.
You're a free agent.
He was not gonna. In Miami, LeBron was gonna get the free agents that he needed. They probably would have rebuilt that team, man. They would have been right back, and they'd still be good right now. With D Wade retired, he'd probably. LeBron, quite frankly, would have about that 7-8 championships that he tried to talk about when he was in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But LeBron had never ran into a real masculine man that was going to put his foot down and tell his ass what it was going to be. And he didn't like the fact that he couldn't control the Miami organization and do what he wanted to do. And he left, went back to Cleveland. He saw an easy way out. He saw Kyrie had won like the All-Star MVP that year. He played against him. And he watched him. And he saw like, man, if I just get out there, this guy here, we'll have more free agency. He's still under his rookie contract. I could bring more pieces in. It's home. Man, and that was it. He went back and the rest is history. The point I'm trying to make is, as far as what you was talking about just a second ago about your guy, what's his name? Not Michael Beasley. The guy, Royce White. I'm gonna say this, man. Royce, if you follow him, had a tendency to open his mouth and say risque things. He did. He'll say stuff. He would call out stuff that a lot of people didn't, You know, and at the time that he was coming out, he didn't understand how to handle his mental issues as much as he probably does now. So where he is today isn't where he was when he was 22 years old, 21 years old, coming out of college. You know what I'm saying? So that's I wouldn't beat him down that much because I feel like he's more so older. There's stuff that somebody that you could do now, but if somebody had asked you to do it at 17, could you have done it at 20 years old or 21? Mentally, were you prepared? So I don't even think he probably was aware of his mental illness when he was coming out of college, like he is as a grown man. It's things I could do as a grown man now. Now I just don't have the athleticism and youth that I had when I was, you know, if I had my athleticism in my youth at 21 years old, but I'm still, and I got the wisdom and experience of what I got when I was in my 30s. Shit, they were telling where I could go. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends, man. I mean, that's just how that is. You know, as far as KD, man, I think he's making the right decision. He need to stay put and do what he got to do. He just look, man. KD is like right there. Every game that KD loses or something like that happens, KD has the ability, the skills, and the frame to do it. He just don't work as hard. Like I'm sorry. I think you can see he's made a comfort level in the NBA of just being able to shoot over people. Nobody, you know, the way the league is now, they don't play physical. Nobody ever asked him to, okay, we're going to get a guy, he going to get inside your chest, and we're going to see what you do now. He's never seen that. And so how you respond, you don't run. You figure it out. Like in this day and age, you want to take a shortcut, take steroids like LeBron did. You know, that's what LeBron does. He took steroids. I mean, take what you got to take to get the mass. Okay, allegedly. I believe the motherfucker took steroids. That's my opinion, right? But anyway, you know, allegedly he just took steroids, right? Got growth all on his jaw and shit. Okay, whatever. But anyway, the point is, you know, you do whatever you got to do, man. You find a way to do it, and you win. I'm not running, bro. I'm not letting nobody run. And if I do go, I'm staying in the Eastern Conference, and I'm not going to the best damn team that was 1 or 2 games away from the finals. I'm not going to that. I'm going to like shit, the Atlanta Hawks or some shit like that. Then I would have respected more. I'm going somewhere. Send me to Charlotte. Fuck it. I just go to Charlotte. I go play for Michael Jordan. That's who we probably should sit up under. Would be a Michael Jordan, a guy who would probably instill that old school spirit in him of, you know, being able to go. And everybody say, oh, you always tell me how the old school is better. I'm not saying old school is better. I do think that. But even if I did think that, I think the problem I have with this generation, you don't hear me shitting on Allen Iverson. You don't hear me shitting on the guys that came after Michael Jordan, Kobe, that generation. You hear me saying that these guys are always wanting a shortcut. There's always, I can stack my team through free agency, or I can, if it's not going, I can just leave and go. Even though I just signed a $250 million, $300 million contract, I can leave and go play a week after signing. I can leave and go play with, you know, another top 5 team, another top 3 team or something. A team that was really had the best record in the damn NBA. I want to go play with them. Like, you're doing the same thing you did in Golden State. They beat you down in Golden State. You still haven't learned. It's the same thing. You don't have the media apparatus that LeBron has. You don't have people that are literally working for you, that run a sports agency, that literally have people on their payroll that go into the damn ESPN and Fox Sports and sit down and look these people in the face and say, you better make sure that you put KD up there as greater than Michael Jordan. So that's literally what LeBron has. There was a video I saw the other day of literally after LeBron won the championship in Cleveland, Shannon Sharp was like, oh, no, he got a ways to go to catch Michael Jordan. What happened? Now all of a sudden he the GOAT. Rich Paul is what happened. That's what happened when you got a Rich Paul. That's what happened when you got a guy that has an agency and you got all these different players up under him. And if you want access to those players, you got to play nice with LeBron, and you got to say you got to kiss the ring, you know. And so that's where your boy benefits. And KD don't have that, and so he's trying to fight to get it. And I'm like, bro, you're never gonna get the respect of a LeBron James. They're never gonna look at you as an equal to LeBron James and all these guys, because LeBron James has the benefit of having Clutch Sports and the media and everything behind him. He got a machine. That's why he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire because he had a machine behind him that has been built. The smartest move he did was start that agency. That was the smartest move he ever did. Because when he started signing his peers and then he started controlling the narrative and making them talk about him all day, every day for years on end, that's what ensured it. I'm not even shitting on LeBron. I'm just saying Kevin Durant hadn't figured that out. Stop trying to go and do what LeBron. You can't do that. Only LeBron can go on a team, had a greatest schedule, easiest schedule, stack squad, and don't even make the playoffs, and it never hurt his blemish. He's still considered the GOAT. Only LeBron could do that. Nobody else. This has to take you out of the GOAT conversation. It has to. You played with like 5 or 6 Hall of Famers on one team and lost. Didn't make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
It just laments to what I'm saying about its perception, man. If people like you, they'll move heaven and earth for you. And Chris, I want you to hop in on that. So what you got with the LeBron KD comparison?
Bro, I think if you rotate the cup, all right, because you kind of reaching a little bit, like big time.
He said you reaching, sub. All right, let's talk about it.
You ain't tell your rotator cuff reaching out.
Yeah, I tore it, man. Yeah, I tore it my left arm, man. I was reaching, trying to show how Clutch Sports. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You reaching, brother.
You don't. That's the thing. Like, people don't understand Clutch Sports. You don't understand the reach of Clutch Sports, then you'll call it reaching. Just do a little research.
I'm not saying they don't have reach. I'm not saying.
I'm talking about the reach and within the media. Do they have reach in the media? Okay, so if they have reach in the media, KD is angry and trying to respond to his detractors who are in the media, not understanding who he's fighting against. You can't beat them. I'm not mad at LeBron. I'm just saying you cannot beat. LeBron has a machine, you don't. You didn't build a machine, so you can't do what LeBron do. LeBron could have left, it wouldn't have been nothing. Everybody would have found a reason to defend LeBron, but you ain't LeBron. That's why they dragged his ass. The whole summer they dragged him. They ain't been dragging KD this whole summer?
When has LeBron tried to get traded, though?
Say what? No, what I'm saying, no. This is what I'm saying right here, bro. What I'm talking about is LeBron runs from adversity. Whenever there's like, for example, 2007, he went to the finals or whatever, and then he was all this and that. They was on him to win a championship. He got beat by Boston. He left, went to Miami, joined up with. Lost. You joined up with a top 3 player, which had never been done. 2 of the top 3 players had never joined up on the same team, right? He goes, loses at what's the name, and he come back. Soon as you lose, first thing I said, man, had he stayed in Miami, they'd have won more championships. That's not a hater. That's me saying, as much as I didn't like the move of going to Miami, had he stayed right now with the expertise of Pat Riley as an executive, Pat would have got him the personnel. Look at what he's doing in Miami with just scraps, if I'm being honest. With just scraps. Look at what he does. Pat Riley is just like, it's like Jerry West. Jerry West has an eye to pick talent. Jerry West can build squads. So can Pat Riley. I'm saying he should have stayed there. So I'm not like I just hate and despise the guy. I'm saying in order for him to have those 7 championships, to really be able to beat his chest and say he's the GOAT, he would have got him in Miami if he'd have stayed. But then he left, and that's all I'm saying. KD right now would have 4 or 5 championships right now if he'd have stayed in Golden State. But he didn't. Because why? Because he was in there and the media kept picking at him. The media, they don't do that to LeBron. The media kept picking at him, and then he left. Because he worried about what people will say. You even had dudes in the NFL talking about it.
That I agree with.
Because the media, but the media 24/7, 365, Christmas, I'm talking about off season, LeBron, right? They don't give him that love. And KD beat this man head to head twice. It should have been KD, but it wasn't. It was still LeBron, even though he lost. They still was talking about GOAT. Like, how y'all the dude losing, getting beat every year? They still kept talking about LeBron, right? But because LeBron has a machine, he doesn't. I don't think that's a reach. And that's not hate. That's not hate. That's just, man, look, it's politics. If you see the situation for what it is, if a guy got politics on his side and another guy doesn't, and I didn't know this as a basketball player, that the players that would get a lot of playing time during the day when I was in college, a lot of time, what they would do, they'll go sit in the coach office and just watch tape with him and talk to coach all day. I come to practice and bust this nigga ass. It don't matter that I bust his ass in practice. Coach Joel liked this cat because they sat there and they talked about some video. So in the clutch moments of the game, he want to go with him over me. Even though I bust his ass, it doesn't matter. Politics. LeBron knows that better than, he's the best politician I've ever seen in the game of sports. I mean, he's the best. I mean, because he's able to control his own narrative. He wants to, and he's very good at it. He's very good at it. I'm not even trying to, like, none of this is hate. Yeah, I don't like LeBron as a player. I still think he's one of the greatest to ever play the game. Arguably top 5, top 10, you know, sometime, whatever. But he's still one of the greatest ever to lace up a pair of sneaks. That being said, LeBron is a master at the shit that Kevin Durant doesn't. Kevin Durant left Golden State because he worried about what people said. Now he want to leave the same situation because he worried about what people said. They drag him for trying to leave this time. Now he gonna stay. I'm like, man, just do the work. Do the work to be the greatest, to be up in that conversation. Do the work. You 7 feet. He took his shirt off and they showed this nigga he has no muscle definition. You 30-something years old. By now you've been in the league too long, bro. That means you're not really you're not watching your diet. You're not lifting weights. You're not doing the shit you could do. Yeah, you could dribble. Yeah, you could shoot over people. But when somebody get physical, your shit is diminished. It shouldn't be at the 12th year in your league, in your career, somebody can get physical and stop you. Now you should fix that. That's what Alonzo Mourning did. That's what Michael Jordan did. That's what even LeBron did.
I got you. I want Chris to interject too, because I want y'all both to riff on this. So go ahead, Chris.
No, Kevin, I agree with Kevin. I said from the beginning, the Warriors was his best spot, because no matter what the media say, it's all about do you fit in this position best. And the best spot was the Warriors because he just had to do what he do best, and that's score. Because it's like I told, like I said earlier, there aren't too many dudes in the league who can score better than Kevin Durant. And you put him in a position where the Warriors say, hey, Kevin, just go score. Do your thing. Don't worry about being a leader. That's what Steph is there. That's what Draymond's for. And he was and as you saw, he was the best player out there. There's a reason why he won the Finals MVPs. And you said 4 championships. Well, as you see, they just won another. So that would definitely been 3. And last year, they go way farther than playing a game.
I think they would have beat Giannis. They probably would have beat Giannis. They probably would have beat Giannis.
They probably would, but we know for sure 3.
He almost beat Giannis. He almost beat Giannis by himself. Think about it. He was, remember the foot on the line? All he had, if you got Steph Curry, bro, they would have probably messed around, and Jordan Poole, all the little pieces in Golden State, they probably would have squeezed out of one last year. He'd have been on his 4th, finna work on his 5th championship.
Yeah,
this dude, by the time he could retire, could have been, if he'd stayed in Golden State, could have had about 7, 8 championships. Easy, because he got another 5 years in him. He could have easily squeezed out 5.
Yeah, that's what they like. Kevin, stop listening to the media, man. Because look, if you keep winning a championship, yeah, they talk about you right now. He ain't. As Charles Barkley say, he ain't the bus driver. Did that? But guess what? At the end of his career, you got 4, 5 championships, about 4, 5 Finals MVPs. It's not gonna matter. They're not gonna talk about what you did this, you did that. They're gonna say, yep. Oh, sure, that's real.
Yeah. You could nitpick anybody's championships and say so-and-so was hurt. So-and-so he was lucky. He had this, he had that. Man, don't nobody do that. Nobody looks at San Antonio. Nobody looks at the Senate like the Lakers when they played against the New Jersey Nets teams. I'm not looking at them Nets teams like, oh, well, they were just nobody cares. They were 3 championships. Shaq can beat his chest and say, hey, I got 4 rings. Can't nobody say nothing. Kobe, before he died, 5-time champion. You can't say nothing. And really, he's supposed to have more MVPs had he not got that rape case. That's it. The league pushed on to LeBron early because of that rape case. In Kobe's golden era, they stopped talking. They gave up on Kobe. When Kobe was killing in 04, 05, when Shaq left and Kobe was getting 81, 63, everybody was scared of Kobe. You wouldn't dare say his name without getting punished. Everybody would watch. If you say something to Kobe, the next game, oh, he said this about Kobe. 40, minimum 40, right? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I look, I think Kevin Durant needs to do the work, man. There's no other way around it, bro. If he was in my camp, if that was my son or my cousin or something, I go sit his ass down like, bro, just do the work, man. You got the money, you got the personnel, and damn it, we can get the chemicals to put in your body to make you big and muscular and strong and able to handle that physicality. I'll go get a Dennis Rodman type. I go get them physical old players and get used to people getting in your chest, bro. That's the only reason they stopped him. They made him overthink himself because he wasn't used to that physicality. And that's how they got him. If you go back and watch that film, man, I would take that shit personal. Like, okay, they stopped me. Because up until that point, we've seen it. I saw it with Tony Allen when he played in Memphis. But see, that's the thing. I saw it then. And I can say, okay, well, back then, Tony Allen was 6'4". This dude's 6'11". Tony Allen was locking his ass up. Tony Allen's 7 inches shorter than him, but he was physical. Tony Allen was first team all defense. Tony Allen was in his damn chest. That nigga couldn't even get his shot off half the time because Tony Allen was on top of him. And I always said, Kevin Durant, they said, well, they'll beat the Bulls. They'll do this. I said, man, I don't know if Kevin Durant can handle that physicality like that. Now we see somebody else do the same thing. You fix that. That's a hole in your game that you need to fix, man. One thing I respect about Lonzo Ball, he fixed this jump shot. Lonzo Ball, go look this up. Last year, I think right before he got hurt, I don't know about now at the end of the season, but I know right before he got hurt at the All-Star break, Lonzo Ball, top 5 field goal percentage from 3 in the NBA. From people saying he couldn't shoot to top 5 field goal percentage. Another cat I respect, Markelle Fultz. A lot of times when you improve, people ain't gonna just everybody not gonna beat the door down like, oh, he's so great. No, Markelle Fultz is a respectable shooter now. They laughed at this man and said he couldn't shoot. He forgot how to shoot. I'm like, well, when he was over there in, what was that, Oregon, he was putting in work. He could shoot. He was a baller. Washington. And all of a sudden he went to not being able to shoot in Philly. And then they found out it was some sort of injury. And he built himself back. Now he got a contract. I think he got a nice little contract last year. Hard work, man. Put the work in. I'm man, come put your hard hat on and work. A lot of these NBA players, if you watch them, what they do in the summer, they just play pickup basketball. That's what they do. That's how they do. They play pickup basketball. You might see them on a track running. Kevin Durant, when he took his shirt off, you can look at it, it's on YouTube. Charles Barkley cracked a joke like, man, he looks skinny. Like, he's skinny as hell, He got no muscle definition. You 30, 40 years old, been in the league all this time. You can get a diet. You can get, man, your body's supposed to look like something. That's the difference between Giannis and him. They're the same height and weight. Giannis looked like freaking David Robinson used to look.
That's true.
Giannis put the work in, man. That's why Giannis can go and win. That's why I think Giannis proved to me he was the best player in the league, to me, in my opinion, because Giannis did the work and they don't like Giannis. Giannis ain't in their clique. He didn't play AAU with these cats. They don't know him. He just hard fucking work, which is good for us as the fans. I want to see Kevin Durant at his best. I don't want to see you relying on that damn fadeaway because you 6'11" and you tall and you can just, that worked for the mother cats. Man, take your game to the next level. Show us what because I believe Kevin Durant could be If he put some muscle, you him about just 10 pounds of muscle, and he get used to being physical, you're gonna see something we ain't never seen before. If he do it.
Well, that ain't happening, so we can hang that up. So we're at the 10-minute mark, gentlemen. I got to work today, so I love the banter. This is always what this channel about, man. Talking about some real hoop shit. So yeah, we about the 10-minute. We're gonna land the plane on this one, so I can get my butt to work. So I'll let y'all keep going, man. Y'all land the plane on what y'all speaking about KD and what he needs to do.
Yeah, well, he's not going to put on no muscle. Now, this is year 16, I believe.
14. No, I think 13.
No, he came in in 2007.
7, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, 2007. He was the year with Greg Oden. So, at this point, Kevin's not going to. That's just how Kevin is.
I'm going to put it like this. I think when older players are notorious for being able to put on muscle. When you get older, you can put on muscle, whereas when you're younger, you recover faster. So we see players that want to stretch out their careers, and you know those guards do this a lot of times. When they turn 28, 29, you start putting on a little muscle. Stephon Marbury did it. He was all athleticism. Then he put on some muscle. He got big. You know, putting on muscle is something that I think he needs to do. And even if he doesn't do that, I think he can put on, strength, pick up strength and work on being physical, man. Work on people being physical. Work on people work on your game, do all the same stuff, but have people in your chest pushing you, forcing you to trying to take that space in between, that end zone, that space in between you where it's hard to put the ball on the floor. You need to get used to that. Because that's what Tatum and all them guys figured out, and you could see it. And that's how they swept them. So, it is what it is. Then you got to get rid of Kyrie. I really hate to say it. You're not going to win. Kyrie is an ill-advised player. He's going to take a bunch of ill-advised shots when you really need good baskets. You can't trust him to show up in a 7-game series. He lucked up and got hot with Golden State because they couldn't check him. But in a 7-game series, I don't see him doing that. I think he's going to cost him. If they lose, it's going to be Kyrie's fault. Watch. Because he disappeared too much.
I said Ben Simmons will come help neutralize that because that your turn situation that Brooklyn currently runs, I don't see that being fruitful. So Ben Simmons is the equalizer, and he don't even want to shoot, which is good for that team in particular. So I think it's a perfect match. And I've been on this, I'll die on this hill, man. I've been on this for like 8 months, been saying this after that trade with Harden. So I think it's a perfect situation, to be frank. They just got to just sit down, let all those personalities work themselves out, and just do it. Because it's like all they got, man. So that bunker mentality should be in, because not to say nobody don't want Kyrie, not saying nobody want KD, but the market is so frozen because they so talented that, hey, bro, y'all need to sit down and figure that shit out. And I think that's going to be maybe the rallying cry. And I think, to your point, as far as legacy, and I led with this earlier, I think it's gonna make him look better, man, because because if KD went anywhere, the stigma don't follow you that you run from hard situations, no matter if it's true or not. That's just your perception. Perception is reality at this point, especially being 34 years old. But I think the narrative police, it'll bode well for KD because now it looks like he's stuck it through. If you win with Kyrie with all the chaos that seems, and Ben Simmons with his horse shit. This actually is a great legacy play for KD, not having the machine behind him, like you said as well.
That's it.
So straight up, man. So I guess we're in the show here because I got to take my butt on to the workhouse, man. Chris, I appreciate both of y'all.
All right, man.
Absolutely, man.
All right,
so,
bro.
I know we're going to but I got to get on to this. I already told them I'm going to be an hour late, so. Thank y'all for all tuning in, man. Y'all hit the like button on the way out, man. Again, you get real basketball talk over here, man. There's no fluff. We're not going to be in here just saying media narratives because I don't believe in that personally. And somebody on my panel talking that, but bullshit, I ain't going to let it ride. So, that's not what we do over here. So thank y'all so much. Thank y'all, gentlemen. Until next time, we out, man.
All right.
Shout out to Hoop Shark, man. I'm going to add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only let selected few in my circle. And this is a real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get